everyone. Today with me, I have Tiffany Tin. She's a wonderful, wonderful soul, a spiritual teacher, Reiki master teacher, a retreat facilitator, a goddess, a priestess. I see you like that.
Oh, thank you, Bella.
And my beloved teacher of light language and light codes, and I learned so much from you through your teachings and your truth. Welcome to my channel.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm so excited.
I felt the need to invite you to share some time with me to pass the information to people on the other side of the world. Because for those I forgot to mention, you live in Canada, and people who are watching my channel are around Europe. So I think that you have so much to offer to people, and so much high quality, I would say high vibrational information that is really needed right now. Could you tell us a little bit about you? How did you start your journey? I'm pretty sure many people ask you, but it's always good to know this again, to hear this again.
That's true. It's always fun for me to revisit it too. So, yeah, thanks for asking, Bella. And for me, I think my pivotal moment came from facing my shadow. I was in university. I'm in my mid 30 now. I know I look so young. People think you finished school. I'm like, oh my God, I wish. But a few years ago, almost a decade ago, I finished university, and I was in the dating world. I'm a late bloomer, and I think a lot of starseeds maybe will resonate with this. They also we kind of like late bloomers, and I was in the dating world, and being such a naive and innocent person going into the dating world, I got nommed up by the sharks, and I'm like, oh my goodness, is this what the dating world is about? And I went through a lot of abusive relationships, and I didn't have boundaries, self-love, self-worth, self-trust, and I just thought everyone think like me, so I would just give. I would go to boyfriend's house and do their chores for them. And I'm like, wait a minute, why am I doing all these things? But I'm getting abused on the other hand. So long story short, it got worse and worse. And then I got like sexually assaulted at one time. And that really hit bottom for me. I was like, I don't think I'm a bad person, but why is this happening to me? I don't understand. And that was the year or years that I started to go deeper within myself and be like, okay, there's something I know I need to look into, because this pain in my heart just wouldn't go away. And I started to actually go on YouTube and search up, how to heal from a breakup. And then from there, I learned from MatCon. Teal Swan had a lot of good materials about shadow work as well. And Eckhart Tolle, he talks about the unconsciousness. And from these teachers, I started to open up and wake up. And I learned shadow work first from different teachers. And slowly over time, I opened up to Reiki. I heard the word Reiki. I'm like, oh, it sounds so familiar. I feel like I want to take it. I don't even know what it is. And I took like one. Exactly. I was like, I'll take this. And everything just opened up. I was like, oh my God. Like everything made sense in the universe now. And so I understand, like, my chakras are so blocked. They're so, suppressed. No wonder all these people with open or over dominant energy would find me a match, right? It's energy. So that's when I really started to wake up. I think it's from, interestingly, relationships, and it let me know I have childhood wounds that I didn't work on. Like my father and mother had me when they were very young, like 20 years old, so they didn't know a lot of stuff. And from those journey, I realized, ugh, there's stuff in my past I need to heal that I have not addressed. So yeah, that's the story of me starting to open up. And then as I practice Reiki more and more, then the channeling comes, and then all that stuff like Octurians and dragons, they come, and I'm like, wow, am I losing it now? But I started sharing on YouTube, and then all these thousands of people are like, yeah, me too. I have these same experiences. I'm like, okay, so I'm not the only one. So I can't be crazy because there are other
There's
people
more of us. Party.
Exactly. And I pay my bills. I was in the corporate. I'm very grounded. So I feel like there's this whole world that we're just starting to re-embrace now, right? And I think people like us on YouTube is really just trying to find our tribe and be like, hey, you're not crazy. We're here too.
I have to admit that I'm only now opening fully. Like I started last summer to open a little bit more, to show to people, because I'm coming from, when I left, because I lived many, many years outside of my country. And when I left, it was quite closed down. And I was always like the weird one, So I was like, no one has to know about this. And then, same thing, when I discovered Reiki, everything just opened. And as for you, this makes sense now. But wait a minute, where did this dragon come from? Am I crazy? And angels.
Yes.
And then the next level is when I found you. I noticed that many of us starseeds and light workers have some kind of narcissistic trauma, okay, and or trauma by a narcissist. For me, I'm very grateful. It was never in my relationship or my parents, never, but it was my teacher, one of my spiritual teachers, and I don't think it was intentional. I think it just how she opened towards me because of who I was, I believe. And anyway, so that day, and I kept hearing this will sound bad, but I kept hearing this voice in my head. That was telling me, something is not right here. Find the teacher. The teacher is here for you. So I went into meditation, and that was the morning when I met my Arcturian guide. I didn't even know who Arcturians were. I didn't hear about them, and I was struggling to pronounce the word. And then I opened the YouTube to see, okay, what is similar? And I was like, Tiffany Tin, pop. And I literally, and you were talking something about starseeds, and I was like, okay, so that morning I watched most of your videos. Okay, so that day. And then I kept coming back and back, and this is how I discovered you. What can you tell us about our starseed lineage? Because we have many, but this one is quite interesting, I think.
Yes, yeah, I think more and more people are waking up, right? To this is just one spacesuit that we have. We have many suits that our soul take form. But yeah, for me, the term starseed is when you open up your Akashic records and start to remember your connection to other planets outside of Earth. So in a way, we're all made of stardust, but I really think the term starseed is just to help us find each other. Be like, hey, I open up that part of my Akash too. And also, I find that it helps people realize connect with their guides. They remember their soul mission, their purpose, and also open up some spiritual gifts as well. So once they open up to this term starseed, It's a label, but it's also like a key. They open this part of their consciousness, like light language, healing, light codes, grid master. They start to remember these parts. And I also feel like with star seeds, a lot of beginners, they think they just won. They're like, oh, I'm just this. But then I also have this connection to that star system. So it's important to remember we are light beings. So light is like a spectrum. So same thing with your Akash, you're going to have different connection at various degree with different stars. So myself, for example, I feel very connected to Arcturus. And so I find that I connect with other Arcturian souls. We're like soul family. We're like, see you down there on Earth. When we're down here, we find each other. And yeah, I feel like it's these networks that help us find each other. And yeah, you could be connected to Arcturus, but also have lifetimes on the Pleiades or Lyra. So yeah, it's very, very interesting when we start opening up to that part of our Akashic records.
Yeah. Maybe what do you think about this? Because this is how I see this. Like you said, when you open your Akashic records, then you open yourself, and Starseed, the word, is actually activating you. So the way I see this, and the way like goddesses and work, for example, the energy I see, and this is how I feel it, is like in Reiki. It's enough just to say the name of the symbol and it activates it, because all the intention is put into it, and that activates us. Is this how you see it as well?
Yes, I definitely feel it because like you were saying, like when I saw the word Reiki, I never heard about Reiki in my life, but I feel so drawn to it, right? And even Starseed, I was like, right when I hear it, there's like tingles in my body. The first time I'm like, oh, I need to look into this. It's like a magnet, you're drawn to it. And I feel maybe before we incarnate, we're like, okay, to make sure that I wake up, let's create a little activation, like little portals to help us remember.
Remembering word.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so interesting. When I started working, it was the actuarian bit of part of me that was so active, and then it's definitely the Syrian. And since I opened that, like when I moved to Tenerife, I live in Tenerife now, which is I don't know if you know, but it is the heart chakra of Atlantis.
Ah, wow.
And the first night I got visited by Isis or Aset. And since then, I started somehow working with them. And that's how I understand the connection with Sirius as well. But now more and more, I can feel Andromedan part of me. And I keep getting this word again in my head. But I think it's amazing. And the light language, the light language that it opened in me, it's amazing. Could you tell us more about the light language? What is a light language?
Yeah, so a light language is another form of healing. So like Reiki, those people that are really good with energy healing or crystal healing, but some people are also really good at using their voice to channel healing energy. So light language is connecting to a source. So we work with light, so we connect with source. I don't know why other people do. We connect with light, or you connect with a Kohen or a guardian of a specific frequency. So it could be divine Isis, it could be divine Kuan Yin, or even Archangel Michael, these higher beings that hold a lot of these pure frequencies. We are like little antennas, and we can connect to their frequency and bring this frequency down to earth and amplify it through our voice, kind of like the mandala behind you to radiate these in a more physical form. And it's not new. A lot of cultures, they have used this light language. Some people call speaking in tongue. Other people call soul song. I read somewhere in a tribe in Africa, I believe, they when a woman is pregnant, she go into a meditative state to connect with the soul of the baby. And then she get the baby's soul song. And she would teach the villagers the baby's soul song. So when the baby is born, they will all sing it to the baby to welcome it to the tribe. I was like, that's so beautiful. So I feel like light language is here to help us, like you said, reactivate the heart, our connection to source, our connection to each other, and help us open the throat chakra too, because a lot of programmings we have have learned to close our truth. So like language also I really like about it because there's not a lot of rules. Like everyone's soul is so different, so everyone's like language and frequency is so different. And like you said, you change, right? As you activate your light language change. So I just think it's a very artistic way to express healing frequencies.
Mm-hmm. That's how I feel it as well. When I speak light language, or for me, it's open in a form of speaking my truth. I use my hands for light language, so they just go crazy, and I know that I start healing straight away people, and sometimes I do. I have to quickly just say the intention because it just starts coming through me, and I get the information what it is, and then I have to just set the intention in quickly, to center myself to provide this healing for the group of people that I'm working with, or for myself. Is there a difference between hands and voice and soul song?
Yeah, I feel like it's a way for us to learn, to understand the different expression. And yeah, there's a lot of students that I work with, they have these hand gesture. Sometimes they are writing like light symbols as they are moving their hands. Some people I've seen also call for these light, it's called light weaving. So it's kind of like bringing fibers of light and weaving them together, maybe in the aura or things like that, to heal the holes or rips.
That's
in the
what
body.
I do.
Mm-hmm. And some people also draw them too. They create like in Photoshop or some programs, like they draw the light symbols and light language out. So I think these are all just different subtleties of how a person work with their light language or their soul song. Usually language feels a little bit more like words, but then the song feels more like a melody. And yeah, they're both beautiful and they're both very powerful.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you can do some light language now?
Yes, thanks for asking. We can demonstrate, and maybe people will be like, "Oh my god, I already do this!"
Yay!
Yeah. So, for example, I'll do a short. We'll do one with the Octurians, and then one with Kuan Yin, so you can feel into different energy.
I feel Kuan Yin here. That's why I'm asked. Yes.
She's been very strong lately, so
I can feel her.
Wonderful. So, so when we channel light language, we just like to bring our intention, and our intention is just to connect with the highest, more purest consciousness, the divine aspects of my Octurian energy and the energy of Mother Kuan Yin, to bring forth a gentle healing vibration for the listeners that are joining us today. Doesn't matter when you're joining, when you're listening, let this transmission of light bring you healing and peace. Thank you, thank you. Channeling activates. Octurian frequency of healing. Ui oi isi taloi nuku in moiti. U mui isi naloi hi taloi ki u isi o eniti naleni. O iti isi o eniti nale ki italoi. U lunini nale ki italoi hu si ninai. Mother Kuan Yin frequency of healing and peace. Ni ki loi ni nale. Lin nai ki nin soi lin nai oi. Lin ti na loi ki in ni na loi sin. O kunu lin nai tu i sinai. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Channeling completes. Thank you.
Thank you. That was amazing. I would ask now, beautiful people who are going to watch this video, I will ask you a question. Maybe you can write under the video. Did you feel the difference? Because you can really feel the difference between the frequencies that these light languages bring. It's
even now I feel more peaceful. It's like
completely. Thank you, Tiffany, for this.
Thank you, Bella.
I have another question because you have now another course that is happening now, and that is the Wingmakers. Could you tell us a little bit more about that course? What are we learning here?
Yes, thank you for asking. So, the Wingmaker course is a course that was guided. It's like every year they give me a new course. This year is the Wingmakers, and it's to do with the angelic frequency, and specifically working more with the archangels and the seraphims, which are angels of love, light, and fire or flame. And a lot of times when we work with seraphim energy as well, some people see them as like a bright light being. Sometimes you can see them like an angelic dragon or more like a phoenix being. It depends on the person's soul connection to these higher dimensional beings. And they are teaching us in this course different light codes. And at first I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna do a short course, but then they gave me so much information, it turned into a really big course. So there is like an initiation where we prime and prepare your body, your consciousness through 7 sessions to help you basically become more activated towards the seraphim and archangel frequencies. And then the second and third half of the journey, we learn some light codes directly from your higher self and the angelic realm as well. And these light codes can be used for sometimes activating light bodies, sometimes for protection, sometimes to activate a certain energy center or chakras. So light codes in itself is very, very, I would say, multidimensional. They work really well with Reiki. They work really well with light language. It's just another tool in the healing tool belt that we can add. And yeah, it's going on right now live, or everything is recorded, so I'll still have it available afterwards. So if anyone is interested, Bella is in it, and I'm facilitating it. And yeah.
It's amazing. It really is so good. I just told you at the beginning, like the second lesson, and literally I left lying on a bed. I couldn't move because of the, I would say, heaviness, but it's not heaviness. It's just the codes were so powerful. And I was very surprised surprised because I I worked a lot in the past with Archangel Zadkiel and Saint Germain, and with the Violet Flame. I worked a lot with them, and Archangel Michael was here as well. But somehow, and I probably because the energy is more subtle than theirs, it's Archangel Gabriel. And I actually connected to her. And this white spectrum, this white diamond light is always around me. And I said to my friend the other day, I don't know what's happening. My skin is like a rainbow, you know, and I put my arm, I can see rainbows everywhere. What's happening with me?
Yeah, we're changing physically. Like the other day, I was looking at the sun and I could see rainbow, and I'm like, whoa, our eyes are changing too. So
completely. And I can't read. Like, it's funny now because when someone comments something, I can't read, but it's not that I can't see. It's just like literally my eyesight is like this. And then the other day, I you know, where I live, the frequency is so high. When we moved here, my daughter and I were walking down the road, hanging palm trees because of the frequency. And you know, coming from England, we still live near, you know, Glastonbury, which is a very high frequency place, and it was high. But coming to Tenerife, it was like a whole new level. And I just don't even know what I wanted to say now, but the frequency is very high.
It's like a natural elevation.
Yeah, and I can see sometimes I'm like, when I'm just sitting and looking into the sky or whatever, I can see like dimensions just forming in front of me. Like I can see many dimensions, and when I try to explain this even to myself, I'm like, my brain just goes into tilt mode. I can't explain it, but I know what I felt and what I saw. What is your vision on or what is your truth on dimensions? Like everyone is talking about fifth dimension, and can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I think it's a good thing to bring up. I feel it's like veils, and it's like we're like a light particle traveling throughout time and space. So every time you think, ooh, that's it, and then you're like, ooh, there's more. It's like these curtains that you keep opening. So I feel like all these dimensions, they already here, and a lot of our ancestors know about it. Just kind of got forgotten in the recent times. And like you said, we're just opening up more. It's like there are portals that you can access to Avalon. There's portals you can access to the Dragon Realm. There's portals you can access with the fairies. Like there are people. I remember going to Jason Quilt's his conference one time, and he showed us a little clip that he filmed a little fairy being trying to run away from him and hide behind a tree. So I feel like as Ascension happens more, these portals are going to be more active from the sun and the stargates activation. So we will be able to see more of these dimensions. And I think that brings me to wanting to share that it's important to ground. Like in the beginning of our interview, we're like, let's ground. Because if we're not grounded, you're going to think, oh my God, I'm going crazy. What's going on? And ego death is happening. And it's going to be so overwhelming sometimes. So I think those of us that have went through that phase a few years ago, now we're going to be like the supporters for those that are going to be going through this now and in the future.
Us who survived, who went through a few ego deaths, I would say. I find it really important for people to talk. What do you think about that? Because so many people are going through these things on their own, and they don't talk to anyone around them. And this is actually one of the messages that I got from Archangel Gabriel after activation with you. And she told me actually to talk about this. This is one of my missions. Talk, people. talk, because if you here she comes. If you don't talk, they talk, and you lose yourself, because you get overwhelmed and you don't know what's happening. And when you actually, it's not important. Your voice is important. It's not important who thinks what about you, and who will stop being friends with you because you're you. It's important for you to be you.
Exactly.
And it's important to know that, all of us went through changes, and we lost so many people in our lives, but we gained so many people as well. Did you go through that as well?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like for me, I'm lucky. I still have my friends. They might not understand what I do, but yeah, I gain a lot more friends that see me as who I am now. Because I don't think my old friends would see me as me, like the person being able to work with light codes and channeling. They still see me as, oh, Tiffany, the mom who has a baby now. But then, like in this new group of friends, like these, once I awakened, I started reaching out, and they see me as my fullest self. I don't know if it makes sense in language, but so I think it's, yeah, so good you brought up this point, because sometimes we feel like, oh my God, we're going to be so alone, we're going to lose friends, they're going to judge us, but we gain so much more because we need the tribe to see us in our full potential, not with our old self, but with the person we're evolving into. So yeah, that's a really good point.
I find it really important, because if you keep stuck in the past, how can we evolve freely? And anyway, the people, it doesn't have to be, evolving through explosion, but if we like Big Bang, but it's we don't even evolve that way. We just start evolving slowly, and if we speak our truth, every day a little bit, people get adjusted to that, and that opens those people. And if they know what you do, they travel with you, like it happened with you. I lost a lot of my friends, but they're coming back now, so we catch up, we meet again, if that's how it should be, right?
Yes, exactly. So I feel like it's a test too of our ego. Can you let go and just allow things to flow? And yeah,
And we are
so
going through and we are going through that test right now. Can you just allow it to be? The new things to open. You created something, you're catching up with your creation now.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think it's so good you bringing yourself out, because it shows we don't need to be a certain way to, have a YouTube channel or speak our truth, because to me, I feel like spirituality is still just a path to help us find our natural self, our authentic self. And through speaking, through sharing, you're going to find your voice. So even like me, like a few years ago on my YouTube, I was like, okay, very proper, just came from the corporate world. And now I'm like giggly, I don't care, I just laugh. And
I have to say that you were always giggling, but now since you have your daughter, since you came back, sometimes I just catch myself. I don't know what you're saying. I'm just giggling with you. So I'm gonna have to rewatch it again.
They're like, oh my God, I just want to laugh when I see your videos. I'm like, oh, thank you.
Me too. It's so good. So good. Tell me one more last question. I know you're busy, but you are, because that's a big part of you. In this role of a mother, you are developing as well. You're opening to fullest you. Few more ego that are happening here. Tell me, how do you bring it together? Because your daughter is still little, but
yeah, I think she really challenged me to let go of the perfectionist. So I'm a Virgo sun. So I'm like, everything gotta be, done perfectly. So, but since she came into my life, I really have to learn, okay, the house is a little messy, a little dirty. You just gotta let it go. And if I'm not like showing up every week on YouTube, I'm like, it's okay. Just let it go. You're gonna show up when you can, it's okay. So I feel you're totally right. Another layer of ego death is it's like, and then like you said, I'm just more giggy and more fun. And a lot of people think, oh, if you're a spiritual teacher, you need to be very zen and very, calm. And I'm the type that like, let's have fun and let's laugh, even laugh at ourselves sometimes. And I think that also grounds me more as a teacher, I guess. I want to be relatable to people. So sometimes when a spiritual teacher is too serious, I find I can't relate. It's like, oh, they are so high up, how am I going to get there when I have to scrub dishes and things?
Or change the nappy.
Yeah, change the nappy. So I feel like, this feel more natural to me. I want to be very relatable, but also, you can be a mom, you can change nappy, you can sing lullabies every day and still be able to switch and just tune back into that spiritual stuff like I just did here in channeling the light language. You can still do those stuff and integrate it. So yeah, it's about, for me, play and just flow.
That's it. Keep getting actually from Archangel Gabriel. She keeps telling me, play, just play a lot and laugh. And first time when I met her, she was actually laughing at me. That's so interesting. She comes with such a sense of humor. She was laughing at me because a friend was doing Reiki on me. Actually, she was doing violet flame on me. And my reaction was so strong that I was like, I can't move. What's happening? And then I heard she was talking to her friend on the phone, what to do with her. And I heard her friend, who wasn't in the room with us, telling her to stop. And then someone said, no stopping. And I was like, who was this? Am I going crazy? And then I paid attention to this energy that was laughing at me because of what I was going through. And later I met her, that was Archangel Gabriel, and I was like, that wasn't nice.
Yes, totally agree. Because Archangel Michael's energy, I work with him too. He's like very strong, but very fatherly sometimes too. But Gabriel is like laugh and speak and express. So
yeah. And she actually told me once, like, you're a jester. Like you're just like a fool. Just laugh. That's your strongest tool. So no wonder we're giggling together.
This is like our true self. We're just giggling and happy. And
I hope people understood something and they got what our intention was, and that is our highest truth and light that we bring to this collective. Tiffany, I'm so honored you shared your time with me and made this video. And do you have some truth to share with people, some message? It just came to ask you. Sorry, I wasn't.
Yes, thank you. I would say today, right now, is to open your wings. A lot of us have been carrying so much human responsibilities. A lot of times when I work with people, I see them carrying like a heavy backpack. But my message today is, let go of the backpack. Instead of carrying this heaviness, open your wings. Allow these bright light to activate in yourself. And you'll find that once you're in that state, helping people or carrying people becomes easier. Instead of very strenuous and heavy, you're gonna scoop them up with your wings and it becomes a lot lighter. So open your wings, work with the angels, especially these chakras back there, the shoulder blades chakras, and really open them up and let them shine. It's going to be so much more in alignment for yourself and perhaps for others around you too. So, and thank you, Bella, for inviting me for this giggle session. I hope your viewers will have lots of fun laughing with us too. And yeah, my honor to be here. So thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. Thank you. Thank you.